Hi everyone, happy Friday. I'm really excited to record this lesson today because today I get to do the draw for our great big book of Judith Kerr Treasury. And a treasury, we said, has loads of stories in it from Judith Kerr, and she's our author of the month. So I'm really excited for whoever wins this book. And we said last week, if you did the extra lesson about kangaroos and sent your work in, your name would be entered in a draw. So now I'm going to draw from the names that I have. And our winner is Davina. So Davina in year one, Cole, you are the winner this week of the Judith Kerr Treasury, and congratulations, although we had some really good entries. And remember, each week if you do the application task or the Friday lesson, if you make sure that I get that Friday lesson, then your name will be entered and you could win a Judith Kerr book to add to your collection because she's our author of the month. So make sure you do that. Make sure you send it in. Davina, we will be in touch with you next week to make sure that we can get this book to you, and I can't wait. So well done, and thanks for everybody who entered. Now we're going to start our lesson, our Friday lesson. So let me just see if I can share it. Brilliant. Okay, so on Friday, although we're not learning a brand new skill, a brand new reading skill on a Friday, it's really important, if there are any parents watching this, just so that you understand what we do on a Friday. We do an independent comprehension. So as children go through primary school, they're going to have lots of comprehension tests within their reading from year one all the way up to year 6 and beyond. And in order for them to access the comprehension test, they need to be able to read both the questions and the text independently. When we do our lessons, because we're teaching the skills, we do give them lots of time to practice reading by themselves, but there's always either an adult or a peer or a bit of chorus reading where we read all together. So children don't necessarily have to be able to read it completely by themselves for them to access the lesson. However, on a Friday, we think it's really important to give children a chance to practice this skill because we know that in order to develop it, they need to practice it lots and lots. So on Fridays, we give independent comprehensions. I will follow up these videos with a bit of support just so that children who aren't able to access it by themselves can still access the lesson. But I would encourage you during this lesson, lots and lots, to be freezing the screen, getting a bit of practice. If you're going to support them with any lesson, it might be, probably sounds silly because this is the independent lesson, but it might be nice for you to be nearby during this lesson so that if there's any extra help that they need with their reading, they might be able to call on you to ask for help, and maybe just so you could be an extra set of eyes to see how they're getting on with the task. If the children are really slow readers and they're not able to access it, it's probably a sign that we need to be doing a bit more reading book practice at home. So this will be a really good lesson for you to kind of observe and see where they're at with it. It is a year one text. It's kind of within the middle range of year one, so it's not on the super difficult side. It's the right pitch for right now. So if you notice that your child is struggling at all, I would say lots of extra practice with reading. We say at least 10 to 15 minutes a day of the reading book or any of the texts that I've posted will really, really help them to develop this skill. And it's a really important skill, not only for year one, but for years to come. So although today is an independent lesson, if you can kind of hang around and maybe observe to see how your child gets on with it, it'd be a really good way for you to see how much more extra reading practice they probably need at home. So getting started, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at the vocabulary that we have for today. So these are some words that turn up in our reading quite a bit. So we're going to go over them before we get started, just so that you have seen them and that you can pronounce them because I've shown you. So we're starting with lake, float, sink, ride. You see we have lots of split sounds in this text. Rocks, boat, and leaf. So I'm going to go through that one more time. I want you to repeat it back to me after I say each word and point to the word on the screen, just so that you have a little idea before you get reading of what those words are. Lake, float, sink, ride, rocks, boat, and leaf. Fantastic. And we're going to get started on our reading. So the title is At the lake. So let's have a think. What do you think that this story might be about? Where do you think it might take place? Pause the video and share your ideas. So that's right. The title is a really good clue. So it says at the lake. So it's probably going to take place at a lake. We talked about how a lake is a place where you can go swimming, a big body of water. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video now and have a go at reading the first part of the story independently. Remember, look for your digraphs, look for your split sounds. All right, and welcome back. And here's the second part of the text. So pause the video, have a go at reading it to an adult or to your reading buddy. Remember, your reading buddy can be a soft toy that listens to you read. My reading buddy is Stevie, but she's kind of run away from me today. The soft toy Stevie's a lot better to read to. Lovely. And then we have our questions for the day. So I'm going to leave these 6 questions up on the board for you, so you can pause the video and record those questions. And once you've finished recording or writing them down, then you can go back to the text. I'll go back to that slide for you. You can pause the video and the second one. Lovely. Good. So just as a guide for parents, it does usually take between 20 minutes to 30 minutes for children to get through this task independently, depending on how fluent their reading is. If they're faster readers, if they have faster reading speed, it's going to take them less time to do the text. So I would definitely encourage, if you notice that they're getting through the activity in 15 minutes, make sure that they're giving you answers that are full sentences. So I want to see, I know those children know who they are because we talk about it a lot at school, but answering in full sentences and making sure that you're adding detail from the text. All right, and we're going to go back to the beginning of the text, and now I'm going to read the text through and go through the questions for anyone who had a bit of difficulty accessing it by themselves. But again, I can't encourage you enough. If you notice that your child is really struggling with this, this is a year 1 text. This is something that should be accessible to the majority of the class based on what we've taught. So if you can make sure that they're getting that reading practice of their reading book every day. It doesn't have to be for a half an hour a day. It can be for 10 minutes a day, but little and often is really going to build that reading speed. So I'm going to go back to the beginning now so we can all access it together. At the lake. It was a lovely summer day. The cooks went to the lake. Pam said, "I see a leaf on the water. The leaf can float." Rick said, "I have some rocks. My rocks can't float. They will sink if I put them in the water." Mom said, "I have a big ball that we can play with. The ball can float." Dad said, "I'm going for a ride in the boat. I hope the boat will float." Silly dad. Right, so going back to questions. Number 1, circle the adjectives in the sentence. So have a look at the sentence below and we're circling adjectives. We talk about adjectives a lot in our writing lessons. So we know adjectives, are they naming words, action words, or describing words? Pause the video and have a think. That's right, adjectives are describing words. So we're looking for any words that add detail or describe. It was a lovely summer day. It was a lovely summer day. So looking for those describing words. Well, I can always look for a noun first. So nouns are people, places, things, or animals. And I know that a day is a thing. So what's describing the noun? It was a summer day. So I know it wasn't a winter day, it was a summer day. And it was a lovely day. So I have 2 adjectives in that sentence to describe day. A lovely summer day. Remember, if you're having trouble locating the adjectives, always look for the nouns first because adjectives describe nouns, so the adjectives will probably be nearby. Number 2, where did the cooks go? Where did the cooks go? They went to the lake. So they went to the lake. What did Pam see? Let's go back and see what Pam saw. Pam said, "I see a leaf on the water." And we've got this lovely illustration of a leaf beside it. We said it's a really good idea to always check the pictures if there are pictures in your reading, because they can help you to get more information. I can see a leaf on the water. The leaf can float. So what did Pam see? She saw a leaf on the water. What can a leaf do? I just read that as well. It can float. We might not have talked about floating and sinking yet in our materials, but maybe that would be, let's pause the video and have a think. If something's floating, is it on the top of the water or does it go down to the bottom? That's right, if something's floating, it's able to stay on the surface. If something's sinking, what is it doing then? That's right, it's moving to the bottom. I know we'll have done some of that in reception, and we'll definitely get to do some of that this term with our science lessons, but I don't think we've done it yet in our science lessons. Number 5, what did Rick have? What did Rick have? Let's go back and find his name. Rick. I see it, there's Rick. Rick said, I have some rocks. My rocks can't float. They will sink if I put them in the water. So what did Rick have? He had some rocks. And finally, match the character to their item. So we wouldn't be doing matching, but you could certainly be drawing. So what did Pam have? I'm going to draw a leaf for Pam. We answered that question. Rick, we just answered that question as well, has rocks. So now let's look at the next page and see what Mom had. Mom had a big ball, and Dad went for a ride in the boat. So looking back in the text, we can see Mom has the ball, Dad went in the boat. Fantastic. So I hope that you were able to do some practice of your reading yourself, and that you are feeling a bit more confident answering those questions. I tried to give you a bit fewer questions today because I know you have to do it by yourself. But remember, the more we practice, the better we get. And it's so important for us to practice. And even when it's hard, we mustn't worry because we can do hard things. We just have to keep working at it. So I can't wait to see your work. Take a picture of it, send it in. Really, really proud of you for your work for the week. And if you can send in a picture of your independent reading lesson today, then remember your name gets entered in the draw for next week, and you can be like Davina and you can win a Judith Kerr book, or maybe Davina, you'll win it again, you just never know. So let's try and get a picture of our work in so you can have your name in the draw. We didn't have too many names in the draw from last week, so I'm hoping that we can have some more this week. And I hope you have a lovely weekend and great reading this week, and we'll be back to the tiger who came to tea on Monday. So bye everybody.